What is the worst part of getting a rejection from senior management at work? Is it the embarrassment that comes from public rejection, or the disappointment knowing that you could have done better, or the anxiety in doubting yourself or your abilities? Or maybe it's something else. In this video, what I want to share with you is how do you speak to senior management, how to overcome the fear of rejection, right? Because a big part of experiencing fear of rejection includes this fear of experiencing hurt and pain from being judged by senior management as being insufficient in our career paths or in arenas that are important to us. And so as a result of that fear, we automatically develop an aversion for these unpleasant experiences, and we do things to protect ourselves. And that self-protection often does not serve us to the highest potentials. Because let's face it, some of the things that we do to self-protect is we could withdraw from people rather than risk reaching out to them. Or maybe we can hold back from expressing ourselves or sharing our ideas. Or maybe we even choose to procrastinate on opportunities for advancement, right? Have you ever experienced that when you know there was an opportunity to advance your career, but you just didn't raise your hand because of the fear of rejection? So here are 3 keys that I want to share with you on how you can overcome that fear of being rejected, right? So key number 1 is to reevaluate it. Here's the thing about rejection. There's no danger in rejection. It might feel that way, but really, when you reflect on this truth, meditate on this, there's no real and present danger. We can't actually be physically harmed or harmed in any way just by being rejected by somebody, even from senior management. So you see, when you have anxiety over rejection, you will protect yourself by not putting yourself out there. And so therefore, we're trying to protect ourselves by avoiding getting a no. We don't want to hear the word no, because that's rejection. But here's the thing, but if you don't take that step forward, if you don't express yourself or share your idea, it becomes an automatic no. So here's my encouragement to you. Allow yourself to engage in the activity of putting yourself out there, of speaking up, expressing yourself. Allow yourself to get out of that comfort zone often enough to give yourself an opportunity to receive a potential yes and a potential no. Because otherwise, it's going to be an automatic no. And isn't that what we wanted to avoid in the first place? Realize that inside of ourselves, we all have this internal resistance built up to doing something that might lead to a rejection. But we cannot possibly know that it's going to lead to a rejection. We just assume it will, because all of our focus is going towards that as the sure outcome. But how do we know that? Because when we avoid that activity that allows us to avoid the no, that could be the exact activity that we need to be on that's going to set us on the career path of our deepest desires. Right, so that's step number 1, reevaluate it. Right. Number 2, on how to overcome the fear of rejection is to redirect it. Redirect means to move away, right? Redirect, change direction, moving away from the arena of rejection and move into the arena of acceptance. Because the opposite of rejection is acceptance. Isn't that what we really want? So we are in control of that movement. We are in control of the actions we take that move us in the direction we want to go. So understand that when senior management is rejecting you or rejecting your ideas, they're simply searching for more certainty. That's the reason why they have these objections, which lead to what we feel and experience as the rejection. And so our natural response to rejection is to feel defensive. And when we feel defensive, when we feel that defensiveness, oftentimes it leads to expressed defensiveness. Not everyone expresses defensive. In other words, we don't say things to defend ourselves. Not everyone does that, but sometimes it could lead there. But it begins with feeling defensive, right? Feeling like we need to defend ourselves, but we may not end up doing that, but sometimes we do. And that creates even more adversity, and it leads to disappointing results. But here's the thing, you can choreograph the whole conversation simply by asking questions, but you must ask questions out of genuine curiosity. Because this is how you really stay in control, but in control of that conversation, the conversation that might lead to rejection or acceptance equally, 50-50. That's how you stay in control of that conversation. And you still allow senior management to feel in control by asking questions. Because when you ask questions out of genuine curiosity, then they answer your questions, and their answers to your questions then becomes their idea. But if you only serve to tell them. If you defend yourself, then because you tell them, you're saying it, they can reject it, or they can ignore it, or they can disagree with it. But when they say it, their answers to your questions is now they're saying it. They can't reject themselves and they can't ignore themselves. So if you are somebody who is serious about creating this result in your life, in your career right now, and you want to get to the point where you have that confidence, and you want to know, what do I say? How do I manage that conflict? Right? Then I invite you to book a call with me. Right below this video, there is a link. The first link on the description below this video is a link to book a call with me. And inside of my coaching program, this is where I'm going to take you by the hand, step by step, to help you develop effective communication skills so you can position yourself as a leader in your industry. You can effectively communicate your ideas to senior management, and therefore be visible, become visible, and share your ideas, and not have to worry about not knowing what to say. Right? This is you. If you already are an established career professional and you just want to take things to the next level, director, executive level, then this is for you. Right? So if that's you and you're serious about it, then apply in the link below, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Okay, so we have 2 keys so far. Number one key to overcome rejection is to reevaluate it. Right? Number 2 is to redirect it, and number 3 is to reject it. Because here's the principle in life, and this will serve you very far. Nobody can reject you without your permission. So you hang in there with commitment to consistency, then you can overcome every resistance, especially if you get to the root of your fears. Why are you so fearful of rejection? Where is that coming from? It's not resistance that you fear, because fearing that resistance from senior management, which is in essence the rejection, that is just the symptom of the problem. For example, people say that they're afraid of rejection, so that's why they don't express their ideas or they don't raise their hand to take up new opportunities. But that's not it. What they're really afraid of is the fact that once they take that next step, let's say it doesn't end in rejection, it ends in acceptance, and now they must take that next step. What they're really afraid of is now, once they take that next step, once they get the yes, the new path means they're going to have to work harder mentally to level up their game compared to if they stayed with where they're at. And here's the thing, it's always easier to work harder physically than mentally. Because oftentimes, even as ambitious career professionals, oftentimes we choose to work hard physically so that we can avoid working hard mentally. The thought behind it of leveling up our career, right? That mental work is a lot harder than physical work. And so it's a lot easier because we've been programmed by the education system to put our head down, to be disciplined, to be working hard. And so it is actually more difficult in many ways, right? It's going to challenge us in new ways to take that next step. And that's really what we fear. So if what I said resonates with you, then I'd like to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up. Remember also, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell below so that you can be notified every time I release a new video. But that's not it. Because every time you learn something new, we don't really internalize our knowledge until we do something about it, until we participate in what we've been learning. So the best way for you to participate right now is to comment below. I want to hear from you. What are your key takeaways from today? Because what I said was really deep, and it might require you to listen to it again. It might require you to meditate on some of these concepts so that you can truly internalize it. But if you want my help with it and my mentorship, again, apply in the link below, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.